So a few months ago, I did a video about summing mixers and what me and Serban had figured out about them. But ever since then, I'm constantly getting comments, and some people just seem to want to just badger me. And it's fine if you spent the money and you got it and you're happy with the results. Great, good for you. But I am saying, and I've said this a million times so far, I don't think it's worth the investment. Now, I got a comment today, and I'm hoping I could just put this to rest and not deal with it anymore. But this one guy is telling me it's the magic is the harmonics and the nonlinear separation and driving the channels, and with the op amps and the transformer. The summing mixer was in its purest form, and that's what I'm talking about. You take all the outputs, run it through a device, and take the stereo output of that and bring it back in. And that is supposed to, and I said this in the very first video I did. The whole point of that was so your stereo mix doesn't collapse, because on the Pro Tools mix systems, this is way before the HD, it would collapse the stereo mix. And that was the whole reason for it. But some dealers and some manufacturers thought, well, let's just perpetuate the notion of running through a summing mixer is good for you and you'll get better, mixes out of it. And I've heard all kind of configurations. I've been in from demos that we did that whole thing with 8 different summing mixers over at the Elm Street Studios, the Hooter Studios. And I had the guys from Vintage King there, showing me all this stuff. Didn't hear much of a difference. Sat down with every single person that was listening to it, and I asked them, did you hear a difference? Some people said yes, some people said no. But the acid test was, if you heard a difference, would you buy this? Would you invest in it? Every single person said no. And now this one person, I said, well, so you're what you're looking for is the imperfections of running through a summing mixer, which is you're adding a distortion and harmonics and all that they're talking about. And I said, if it's worth it to you, yeah, spend the money, but I just don't think it. And I keep saying this over and over. And then and at the end, I said, I've been in enough studios. I've never seen a summing mixer in a studio. And he said, well, the summing mixer is actually right in front of you. It's the mixer. And that's not a summing mixer. That has EQs in it, that has aux sends, that has dynamics in it. That's a console. That's not a summing mixer. A summing mixer, like I said, in the purest form, is just all the outputs going through a box and then coming out of it stereo and then bringing it back into the Pro Tools system. So it's not the same thing. And it really annoys me when people think that they're the authority and they know what they're talking about. I've been doing this for almost 40 years. I got an inkling of how this all works. And I trust my own ears. I don't trust anybody else's ears. And that's what a lot of people are doing. They're trusting other people's ears to make a decision for them. They're these dealers and manufacturers taking money from people that they shouldn't be doing. And they're saying, here, do you hear the difference? And I go, oh yeah, it's all snake oil to me. But again, if you hear the difference, and granted, sometimes there's a little bit of a difference, is it worth all the money that you're spending to do this? Because there's other ways of doing it. And I know a lot of people that are big mixers that are doing incredible work and don't use anything like that. It all comes down to your ears. If you can hear the difference of what, the adjustments that you need to make, you just make them. You don't have to depend on a piece of gear to give you that great mix that you're talking about. And it just annoys me that there's people keep on questioning it, going, I spent this money. And it just seems like they're just trying to come up with a way to convince me that because they spent all this money, this is the right thing to do. And if you did, good luck to you. Have at it. But to me, I would never recommend spending this kind of money for a summing mixer and going through all the work that you have to do. And then the other thing that some people are saying, well, I got all the faders on my summing mixer. Well, in the beginning, summing mixers didn't have faders on them. And then they're inserting effects. And now it's turning into a patch bay. It's not a summing mixer anymore. So people get the whole, what do you call? They think that a summing mixer is something that it's not, and they keep interchanging these words, and they keep arguing with me and trying to make a point, and that's it. I hope I put this to rest, and let's move on. The whole point of this channel is Tales of Pro Audio, so just telling you cool things I was involved with that I thought you'd be interested in, and I think enough with this summing mixer stuff.